Lueck?
Lueck.
And U.S. Army?
Correct.
7th Army? I'll let you say it.
Well, it's 37th Artillery in Bad Kissingen, Germany.
Yeah.
And got drafted in 1963. And at the beginning of the Vietnam War, and I assumed that I was going to go to Vietnam.
Yeah.
But after I got out of artillery training in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, I was surprised to see that they sent me to Germany, and which I had a sigh of relief on that. At least I wouldn't get shot anyway. We heard that the Russians were playing games at the Berlin Wall, so they needed some additional troops over there. So that's where I was assigned, and we had a unit that was a 155 self-propelled howitzer unit. It looks like a big army tank, but it's got an artillery piece on it instead of a cannon, and it can shoot about 8 to 16 miles. And so I was in what they call a horizontal chart operator, that we'd have a forward observer who would be anywhere from 8 to 16 miles away from us, from our shooting spot, and he would relay the coordinates down, and I would take my coordinates and plot it on a map, and then another one would plot the horizontal and the latitude on it. And then we would come to a certain point, and then we give it to our person that was called the computer. We didn't have computers in those times. And essentially that was my job. Luckily we didn't have to shoot at anybody other than cars or targets.
What was it, cars?
Yeah, they usually have little car bodies.
And that's what you were shooting at? That was the target, yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. And sometimes we hit dead on.
That's so cool. It's so crazy. That's a long way.
That's for sure. So I was in Germany about 2 years ago. I've been there 3-4 times since my duty over there, and we're going back in September again. We're going back to the Oktoberfest.
So you know people there?
Not personally anymore. But we went over to, we were on a cruise to go to Estonia and Russia and Norway, Finland, Denmark, and then back to Germany again. But so we took a road tour around the central part of Germany, and we went back to my base, and it's no longer there.
Oh, wow.
So after the Berlin Wall went down, then they gave it back to the Germans, and so they are using it for other purposes. The buildings are not even there anymore, so kind of depressing that I couldn't be able to see that again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so...
How long were you there?
About a year and a half.
When it's for service, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other times I've been there for skiing trips and Oktoberfest. And
that's what you were saying. You were skiing a lot, right? When you were stationed there.
My roommate was from a suburb of Chicago, but he loved to ski in Wisconsin, and he found out that I was from Wisconsin, and I always wanted to go downhill skiing, so he was a ski
So you didn't ski before that?
I had never skied before that. And so he was a ski patrolman from Vail, Colorado. He moved out there, so we took off for about 2 weeks, one February, and we went to 6 alpine ski villages in France, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, and Germany. I had never skied before in my life, and my first week my rear end was so red that I didn't know what to do, but the second week I picked it up, and I've been back over there several times now skiing, and been out west most of the time skiing.
Where do you usually ski out west? Colorado?
Like Vail and Aspen, and Breckenridge, and Steamboat. So, and then every weekend we had a little club back in Waupun, where I was from originally, and we go up to the UP just about every weekend, skiing in UP, Michigan.
So if it wasn't for him, you might not even be skiing now.
That's right, yeah. That's about it.
What a great way to learn how to ski, though. You had basically a ski instructor and the best place in the world to ski.
That's right. And we went back there with 5 other people, I think in the late 80s, because wanted to show them where we had skied before. We had a little ski club. And so we went back to Zermatt, Switzerland, and Chamonix, France. And because I had skied in both of those areas, and they completely changed also. But Zermatt was really nice because there's no cars up there. You have to leave your cars so many miles away from the village itself, and then you have to ride a horse-drawn sleigh usually around through the village area. And that was fun. And you could have on your passport or on your ticket, you could ski from one country into another, like Italy or France or something like that.
And then you would know when you were skiing into the other country?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They check your passport.
Oh, cool.
So we had a lot of time there. We in Chamonix, France. We skied the Valley Blanche Glacier with a guide, and it was a one-run, 5-hour trip down, and through all these big seracs that are about as high as a 2-story building, and bottomless crevices and ice caves and stuff to go through. And when we came back, we looked or read an article in one of the ski magazines that had an article about an individual that went up without a guide, and about a half hour later, he fell in a crevice. He was by himself, and nobody knew he was up there. But luckily, about a half hour later, a group came by, and another person from his group fell in that same crevice. So they threw the rope down, picked the guy up, and this other guy came up instead.
Wait, dead? Or,
no, he was alive. He was alive. So if this person wouldn't have fallen in there.
Oh my God. Yeah, right? Holy crap.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. So
just think if you were that guy.
Yeah, right.
You're like, well, my life is over.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty scary.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
I bet you he's a lifelong friend of the other guy that fell in.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's wild.
Yeah, but that was a good time, and we've been back skiing there again, and so we've had some really good times in the Alps over there, and we're going back in September again just for a tour around Germany and Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein, which I've never been in. We're going to stop there and then go back to Munich for Oktoberfest.
So you've been to Munich for Oktoberfest before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, must be amazing.
Yeah. So we were over there a couple of years ago, not for Oktoberfest, but my wife and her daughter saw some Grindels dresses in Leipzig, and so they had to go pick those up so we could go to the Oktoberfest around here, and then they made me get some lederhosen and a hat with all the pins on it.
So have you been to Oktoberfest in La Crosse too?
Not La Crosse, no. We go to one in Milwaukee, and
Milwaukee
has one, and another one outside of Milwaukee we went to last year too. So, but yeah, I've never been to La Crosse one. It sounds like a fun one.
And you live here in Madison?
No, right now I live in the Beaver Dam. I was a bachelor until I was 72. And we just been married for 5 years.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
A bachelor until 72?
Yep.
Dang, that is crazy.
So it's a lot of fun.
So now how long have you been married?
Just about 5 years.
About 5 years?
This summer, yeah. So and my wife's first husband passed away about 14 years ago, and she and her daughter started taking trips or cruises every Christmas, and since her first husband passed away, and so we've been doing the same thing, and we've been to Australia and Alaska and China and Russia and South America and Central America.
And you kind of had been doing that by yourself anyway, right?
Yeah. And I had a group of friends that we went to NASCAR races all over the country. And I own 6 Corvettes, and so I still got one of them left. So we also went to races at Elkhart Lake. So I've been having a fun time.